షేర్ చేయండి సార్ మీరు యూట్యూబ్ ఓపెన్ okay. Hi guys, so this is a day 2 of December 2026 regular batch for financial accounting. So in the previous class we have discussed the certain topics, like first we have discussed about the subjects regarding in the group 1 and group 2. So in the group 1 we are going to start with the financial accounting, and the remaining subjects will be start in 1 or 2 days. So afterwards we have discussed about the paper pattern of how many sections we are having. 2 sections, section A and section B. So section A is containing the MCQs and section B containing the descriptive questions. So they will give total 7 questions. We have to write only 5 questions. So MCQs we have to bubble, we have to write the answers. So means we have to bubble. Please remember that one. So afterwards you have started the discussion with the modern approach. So till now the students are learned the journal entries in a traditional approach format by using the golden rules. What are the golden rules? We are having personal account rule, real account rule and nominal account rule. But now onwards we are changing the method to a which approach? Modern approach. So in order to understand the modern approach, we have taken a one account T-shaped format. So as usual, left hand side is called as debit record and right hand side is called as credit record. And we have taken a one shortcut regarding a spelling of dealer. So D for drawings, E for expenses and A for asset, L for liabilities, E for equity or capital, R for revenue or incomes. You know about the meaning of drawings, expenses and asset. And then after liabilities, equity means nothing but capital, revenue means nothing but income. The drawings, expenses and assets presented in which side? Presented in the side of debit side, so that we are going to concluding it as it is showing which balance? Debit balance. So what is the meaning of debit balance, sir? Means nothing but in a particular account. For example, I am taking this T-shaped format. In this particular account, debit side I am taking 1000 rupees and credit side I am taking 500 rupees. So in this particular account, debit is more or credit is more? Debit is more. That is the meaning. So in a particular account, debit is more means that account is called as a debit balance. And in the same way, if the credit side is more means it is called as credit balance. But in a particular account, both the sides are having a same amount means this particular account showing a zero balance, neither showing a debit balance nor showing a credit balance. So we have to remember this rule. If the debit balance increases, we have to do the debit. Increases means same proportion. Decreases means what is the opposite to the debit? Credit. And in the same way, credit increases means credit we have to do, and the credit balance decreases means we have to do the debit. So these are the principles we need to remember. Okay na? So to conclude, expenditure and assets will show which balance? Debit balance. When the expenditure will increases means always the expenditure. It is an assumption that expenses always increases and incomes it also increases. When the asset will be increases, if the asset comes in means it is increases. If the asset goes out means it is decreases. In what are the situations liability will be increases? Liability created means liability is going to increase. Liability repaying, we are going to repay the liability means that is the situation, call it as decrease in the liability. So we have seen certain mode points also. In a particular account, if debit side is more, it is called as debit balance. In the same way, in a particular account, credit side is more, it is called as a credit balance. And next we have discussed about the opening balances and closing balances. How we have discussed? So first we are discussing a debit balance. So 1000 rupees on the debit side and 500 rupees on the credit side. This account is showing which balance ma? Debit balance, because debit side is more. In order to close this account, the balancing figure will be available on which side ma? Credit side. So that is the reason the debit balance account, the closing balance will be on the credit side. When coming to the opening, we have to transfer to the which side again? Debit side. That is the reason the opening balance of the debit balance account will be on the which side ma? Debit side. While writing anything on the debit side, we have to use the word called as to. So we have to write the word to balance brought down. There is a hint called as brought down, means nothing but beginning balance. So opening means it is nothing but a beginning. We have to use the brought down for the opening balances. We have to use the carry down for the closing balances. Debit balance means debit side. Credit balance means credit side. We have to use the word called as what ma? By balance brought down. Again, at the time of discussing the type of the accounts, we can discuss once again this type of rules. No problem. And in the same way, closing balance means same opposite ma? Opposite to the opening balances. What we have discussed ma? For the debit balance, opening balance will be on the which side? Debit side. But when coming to the closing balance, debit balance will be on the credit side. We have to use the word called as by balance carry down. There ma? To balance brought down. Here for the credit balance, opening balance will be on the, closing balance will be on the debit side, because opening balance on the credit side means closing balance on the opposite side. So we have to use the word called as to balance brought carried on. Good morning, Ashwant. So this is the only second day, so we are going to come the live for only 10 classes. Afterwards, we are not going to come the live. Only for the demo purpose, we are using this type of activities. So, and this is the discussion. And next, we have seen certain transactions in order to understanding which approach ma? Modern approach. So, we have taken example of Mr. Ram started a business of rupees how much? 1 lakh. So, what are the two outcomes will come into the picture ma? Capital and cash. So the capital, we have to decide whether it is an asset or a liability or income or expenses. So the capital is a liability. So previously only we have discussed liability will have which balance ma? Liability is going to have the credit balance. Asset is going to have the debit balance. Then after, expenses will have which balance ma? Debit balance. And incomes will have which balance ma? Credit balance. Okay. Group 2 will be started from 11:30 onwards. You can go up. Okay, so capital is a liability, will have which balance ma? Credit balance. We have to decide whether it is increases or decreases. Sir, just now we have created the liability. Before that, is there any liability ma? No. Before that, the liability is equal to 0. Now the liability is equal to how much ma? 1 lakh. That is the reason liability increases or decreases. Increases. So that is the reason what we have to do ma? Credit. When coming to the cash, it is an asset already, already. So asset is having which balance ma? Debit balance. So now we have to decide whether it is increases or decreases. What I have told you ma already. The asset comes in, it is an increases. If the asset goes out, this is a decreases. So in this situation, sir, the owner is giving cash to us. That means coming to the business, going outside to the business, comes in. So that is the reason increases or decreases, increases. Or otherwise, you can estimate like this. Previously, we are not having any cash. We are having now what ma? 1 lakh. So 0 to 1 lakh means increasing the balance or decreasing the balance? Increasing the balance. So next, then after purchase of goods for rupees, how much? 10 lakhs. So what are the two outcomes ma? Goods will not be used. We have to take either purchase or sale. So purchases is an expenditure having which balance ma? Debit balance. I already told you that always incomes and expenses are increases. So it is increase, what we have to do ma? Debit. And next coming to the cash, the same formula we have to use. So the cash is an asset, will have which balance ma? Debit balance. Sir, increases or decreases ma? In this case, we are purchasing the goods, means cash goes out to from the business. So that is the reason the balance will be decreases. What we have to do? Credit. So why we know already these type of transactions are already we have seen in the foundation. But in order to understand my explanation. I will use only the modern approach in the classes. So the modern approach only easy for you. That is the reason I am explaining once again. And again, when coming to the accounts point of view, accounts means nothing but journal, or in some of the organizations they may use what ma subsidiary books. Okay na? So journal to ledger, next then after trial balance, next then after final accounts. If you understand this whole process, then accounts is completed. Yes or no? What are the two main objectives of the accounts? To find out the profit or loss of the business, or to find out the financial position of the business. Yes or no? In order to find out the profit or loss, we have to prepare which account ma? P&L account or trading account we have to prepare. Or in order to find out the financial position, we have to prepare the balance sheet. All the things you know, but this whole process we have to go through once again, because there is a concept called as rectification of errors. We are getting 7 marks in the every attempt, so just you have to pass the entries. Okay, now that is the reason. Our main agenda is within a less time we have to get the more marks, because it is a difficult task in the financial accounting is that within the 3 hours is not sufficient to write the whole examination. That is the reason I am targeting once again what ma basics. From the basics really we are going to get 40 marks, 40 plus marks in the examinations. For writing the basic questions will take less time, or otherwise we have to write the NPO. I think you know what is the meaning of NPO. In the CMA foundation already we have discussed. Yes or no? It will take so much time. Just passing the entries, it will take less time. Okay na? Basics means only entries. If you take the big questions means it will take so much time. By end up you cannot complete the total 100 marks in the examination. That is the situation. Okay na? You have to fix in your mind that the paper is going to be a lengthy, not hard. Hard means what ma? Whatever the things you have not studied, it is appeared in the examination means it is a hard. So undoubtedly a financial accounting paper will not be hard. Only the lengthy, the time will not be sufficient. In order to manage the time, the only one rule is that within a less time we have to score the more marks. It is possible with only the basics of the accounting which you have learned in the CMA foundation. But unfortunately or fortunately, in the CMA foundation, we will target the MCQs. We are not going to target the problematic concepts. So that is the reason I am going to explain once again. In my approach, in the previous CMA foundation, you may learn the entries in the form of golden rules. But I am not going to use the golden rules. I am using the modern approach. Trust me, this is also one of the simplest approach you can understand easily. And next we have taken another example of goods sold for rupees how much ma? 1 lakh. Here the two outcomes are sales and cash. Sir, I know undoubtedly sale is an income. So income will have which balance ma? Credit balance. Just remember asset and expenses will have the debit balance. Incomes and liabilities will have the credit balance. So that only remember these 2 points, that's all. And we have to decide whether it is increases or decreases. I already told you that always incomes are increases, always expenses are increases. Why sir? Previously this income is there. No, now only this income is coming to the picture. That is the reason income increases, we have to do the credit. Credit balance increases means credit, credit balance decreases means opposite of debit. And next the main target is cash. Already you know cash is an asset or liability ama asset. We have which balance? Debit balance. We have to decide whether it is increases or decreases. How we can decide whether it is increases or decreases ma? Comes in means increases, goes out means decreases. Now by way of selling the goods, cash comes in goes out ama. Comes into the business, that is the reason the cash balance is increases. If the debit balance increases, we have to do what ma? Debit. So just the debit balance will not become directly debit ma. We have to decide whether increase or decrease in between. So don't think like that credit means credit, debit means debit. So increase means the same, decrease means an opposite. What is the entry will come into the picture ma? Cash account debited to sales account. These are the examples we have seen. And next we have taken a next example of salary paid to Mr. Surya. So many students are confusing in this type of transaction. they are directly, they will decide that Mr. Surya, any person name coming to the picture means they will decide that particular transaction is a credit transaction. But here already there is a word called as paid. Paid means what ma? Already happened or not happened? Already happened. The person name we should not take the outcome. So what are the two outcomes ma? Salary and cash. I think you know already. Salary is a expenses. We have which balance ma? Debit balance. Always expenses increases or decreases ma? Increases. So what we have to do? Debit balance increases means we have to do the debit. If it is decreases means we have to do the credit. And next cash, once again it is an asset. We have to decide. Comes in the goes out amma? Goes out. We are paying the salary means it is goes out. So increases or decreases? Sorry guys. Decreases. So what we have to do? Credit. So what is the entry ma? Salary account debited to cash account, or normally if any expenditure is more than 10,000 means we have to use what ma? Bank. Okay, now generally check coming to the picture means we will use the bank. So in the normal ways, if any expenditure increases means increases by 10,000 means we have to use what ma? Bank account as per the income tax point of view. That's all. Okay na? And certain transaction I have given the homework in the yesterday's class. So this is only discussion happened in the previous class. Okay na? And let us solve this question, these points once again. And okay. Okay, let us see this one ma. Sold goods to Mr. Ravi of rupees how much ma? 10 lakhs. Okay na? Here this transaction is a credit transaction or a cash transaction ma? Credit transaction, because here paid word is used or not used ma? Not used. So the two outcomes are definitely one outcome is called as person. So person of Mr. Ravi will come into the picture. And next one, sales. The two outcomes are Mr. Ravi and the sales. So first we can decide the sales. Already we have seen the above transaction. Sale is an income expenses sum. It is an income. So income will have which balance? Debit balance or credit balance? So income will have the credit balance. So always I have told you that incomes and expenses are increases. So increases means what we need to do ma? Credit balance increases means credit. Debit balance increases means debit. And next, when coming to the Ravi, we have to decide first of all whether he is a debtor or creditor. I think already you know. If we sold the goods to particular person, imagine this is a business and we are selling goods to a person called as Ravi. Okay na ma? That means who need to pay money to us ma? Ravi need to pay money to us. So if we are in a receivable capacity, the opposite person is going to call it as debtor or creditor ma? Debtor. So now I am deciding this person is a debtor. So debtor means asset or liability ma? Debtor means asset. Creditor means it is a liability. Okay na? Asset will have which balance? Asset will have the debit balance. Now we have to decide whether it is increases or decreases. Okay boys. Sir, previously we are having any debtor balance? Previously we are not having any debtor balance. Now only we are having the debtor balance of rupees how much? 10 lakh rupees. That means the debtor balance increases or decreases ma? Increases. So now only debtor come into the picture. Asset comes in means what I have told you that increases or decreases ma? Increases. So that is the reason debtor balance will be increases. If the debtor balance increases, nothing but debit balance increases means what we need to do ma? Debit. So what is the entry we are going to get ma? We are going to get the entry. So the entry is called as Mr. Ravi account debited to sales account. In general, the credit sale entry, someone will you ask you in outside. So what we have to say ma, there the person name is not mentioned means we have to say directly debtor account debited to sales account. If they given the person name means we have to use the person name, otherwise so undoubtedly the journal entry will be debtor account debited to sales account. So what I am doing ma, I am doing the practice of my method, that's all. Okay na? So like that you can practice this type of transactions. So what are these transaction ma? Goods purchased from Miss Rani. Sir, here Miss Rani is debtor or creditor amma? So creditor. The creditor means asset or liability amma? Liability. If the liability balance, liability will have which balance ma? Credit balance. Previously we are not having any creditor. Now only the liability is created. At the time of repayment to the creditor, the liability balance will be decreases. At the time of creation of liability, the balance will be increases. So shall we start this one also? So please take a note of it. We can start that one. Okay guys, now we are going to see the next transaction. Okay ma, just give me a second. Okay guys, we can see here. Now can you say the two outcomes ma here? Goods purchased from Miss Rani. First of all, this is a cash transaction or credit transaction amma? This is a credit transaction. Definitely one of the outcome is Miss Rani. Okay guys, and what is the another outcome ma? So another outcome is called as purchases. I am taking Miss Rani and purchaser. Okay guys, first let me finish the purchases. Okay, purchases is an expenses or income amma? Expenses. So expenses will have which balance ma? Expenses will have the debit balance. So I have already told you, remember expenses and assets will have which balance ma? Debit balance. No, the expenses always increases or decreases amma? Increases. So if the expenditure increases means nothing but debit balance increases means what we need to do? Debit. The same we have to do. Increases means the same. Next, coming to the Miss Rani ma. So Miss Rani, we have to decide whether if any person come into the picture means we have to decide whether that particular person is a debtor or creditor. Okay ma. So now we have purchased goods from Rani. That means we have in a paying capacity. That means we have in a payable capacity. So that means Miss Rani will become debtor or creditor amma? Creditor. So creditor means nothing but asset or liability ma? Liability. So liability will have which balance ma? Credit balance. Okay, until now it is fine. Now just now only the liability balance created, yes or no? So created means before that there is no liability for us. So now only we are having how much of rupees of liability ma? 8 lakhs. That means nothing but 0 to 8 lakhs means the value increases or decreases ma? Increases. At the time of repayment to the creditor, the balance will be decreases. I will clearly discuss about the overall transactions from the debtor point of view in tomorrow's class, and from creditor point of view in tomorrow's class, and we can complete the debtor account and creditor account, because these types of accounts are useful for single entry. And if you that same account I am going to convert and change it to a NPO format also. If you know the types of accounts, easily we can complete single entry and NPO. Final accounts already you know. So, okay, even though you know the final accounts, I will discuss the final accounts also, because we should not take the choice before going to the examinations. So that is the point, because undoubtedly we are not going to estimate the paper. So if you estimate the final accounts, single entry will come into the picture. If you estimate the single entry, NPO will come. So like that is happening in nowadays. So don't estimate the paper before going to the examinations. Don't take the internal choices. Okay, na guys, that is the sincere request from my side. And focus on the basics once again. So next, increases means what we have to do, ma? Credit. Can you say the entry, ma? Purchase account debited to Miss Rani account. In general, if anyone asked you what is the credit purchases entry means, the entry is called as purchase account debited to creditor account. If a person name given means we have to use the person name, otherwise just simply creditor. Okay, na guys. So next we have to see this one. Okay guys, so what are the two outcomes will come into the picture, ma, because of this transaction? So the Mr. Rohit is giving cash to us. The two outcomes are cash and Mr. Rohit. Okay guys, cash is an asset or liability, ma? Asset. Cash is an asset. We'll have which balance, ma? We'll have the debit balance. Now cash comes in or goes out, ma? Comes in. If any asset comes into the business means the balance will be increases. So debit balance increases means what we need to do, ma? Debit. And again, person come into the picture. If any person come into the picture, what we have to do? We have to decide whether is a debtor or creditor. Sir, Rohit giving money to us means who will give the money, ma? Debtor will give money to us, or creditor will give money to us? Debtor only will give money to us. Okay, now if we are paying to anyone, any person means that person will become a creditor. If any person paying to us means that person will become a debtor. So now I am going to concluding. The Rohit is called as what, ma? Debtor. So debtor means asset or liability. Asset will have which balance? Debit balance. Will have which balance, ma? Debit balance. Sir, at the time of what we have done, ma? Why we are that particular Rohit is paying cash to us, ma? Nothing but we made a credit sales. Nothing but we made a credit sale. At the time of credit sales, the debtor balance will be increases or decreases, ma? Increases. Now he is repaying means that particular value in our books is going to decrease. Are you getting the point? For example, we made a credit sales of rupees 10 lakhs to Mr. Rohit. From the 10 lakhs, he is paying how much, ma? 1 lakh. Now what is the Rohit balance in our account? In our books of accounts. So previously 10 lakhs will be there. Now after reducing the 1 lakh, we are going to get the balance will become how much, ma? The balance will become the 9 lakhs. So the balance of the Rohit is going to increases or decreases, ma? Decreases. So please remember, ma. So decreases. So debit balance decreases means what we have to do, ma? Credit. Opposite we have to do. What is the entry, ma? Cash account debited to Mr. Rohit account. Okay, na? So like that the entries will be having. And next, cash paid to Miss Rani. Cash paid to Miss Rani. Okay, can you say the two outcomes? The two outcomes are cash and Miss Rani. Okay guys, cash means once again, it is an asset. We'll have which balance, ma? Debit balance. Now say, ma. Sir, we are paying cash to Miss Rani. Rani is paying cash to us. So let us imagine this is a business and the particular person is Rani. So we are paying cash to Miss Rani. That means cash comes in or goes out, amma. Goes out. The value will be decreases. So if the debit balance decreases means what we need to do? Credit. The debit balance decreases means what we need to do, ma? Credit. Guys, okay na? Okay na guys. Next. So again we have to decide who is Miss Rani. Miss Rani is a debtor or creditor, ma? we are paying to any particular person means the particular person will become what ma? Creditor. Okay guys, creditor. So creditor means asset or liability ama? Liability. Liability will have which balance? If the asset is debit balance means liability is a credit balance. Sir, now the creditor balance increases or decreases ama? Decreases. Why sir? See the previous transaction. We have purchased from Miss Rani. How much? 8 lakhs. How much we have purchased ma? 8 lakhs. But how much amount we are paying now? We are paying the 10 lakhs. That means automatically we are paying more amount or less amount. We are repaying the liability. So repayment of liability means our liability balance will be increases or decreases ama? Will be decreases. If the liability balance decreases means nothing but credit balance decreases means what we need to do ma? Debit. So what is the entry going to get ma? So Miss Rani account debited to cash account. So like that we have to identify the outcomes whether it is a debit or a credit. So all are correct? Okay. Okay. I am taking, so let us change this one. Cash. Okay, I will explain that one. Let us take it as cash. I have imagined. And next, let us take another example. Commission received from Mr. Balu of rupees 10 lakhs. Sir, here, first of all, can you say whether it is a cash transaction or credit transaction? Even though person name coming to the picture, what is happening ma here? There is a word called as received. That means already involvement of cash is there. If there is any involvement of cash, the person name will not be coming to the picture. So not in directly we cannot decide like that. So there is a happening here. So what are the two outcomes ma here? The two outcomes is nothing but first one is a cash and next one ma commission. Commission received. Okay na guys. So now let me decide. Cash is an asset or liability ama? Cash is an asset. Will have which balance? Will have the debit balance. So now what we need to do ma? So cash comes in na goes out. We have received na. Received means cash comes in. If any asset comes in means increases. So the balance will be increases. Now what we need to do? Debit. Next then after commission received. Income or expenses ma? Income. Now what we need to do? Income will have which balance? Credit balance. Okay guys. Now any income or any expenses, so what we have to do ma? Always increases. So if the credit balance increases means what we need to do? Credit. So can you say the entry ma? The entry will be cash account debited to commission received account, or we can write just commission also, no problem. Okay na guys. So this is how we are passing the entries, and undoubtedly I think you understand about the modern approach. So let me discuss some of the typical entries or special transactions like outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, and next income received in advance and income receivable. Till now we have seen credit purchase, credit sale, cash purchase, cash sale, payment to creditor, and the next amount received from creditor, an expenditure, one income, and nothing but capital brought into the business we have seen. Okay nama? So next is special transactions. Keep the heading special transactions. In the next class we can discuss about the types of accounts. So in that special transaction, first one, outstanding expenses. Okay, can anyone in the class, can you say the outstanding expenses meaning? Expenses standing outside is called as outstanding expenses. Huh? So what is the meaning of outstanding expenses? Can anyone? Okay, this is a liability. Then what is the meaning of outstanding expense? Get it? So what I can say means, so first of all it is a liability. Okay, fine. So the meaning is nothing but the expenditure related to current year. The expenditure related to current year, comma, we have not paid during the current year. We have paid or we have not paid, amma? We have not paid during the current year. So this is called as outstanding expenditure. So is called as outstanding expenses, we can say, or expenditure also we can say. Okay guys. Okay sir. Can you say the example, sir? Okay, simply I will take an example. No problem. I think you all know what is the meaning of this one, ma. Board of Control for India, cricket in India, nothing but BCCI. We can call it as what, ma? BCCI. This is a chamber of the board for controlling cricket board in India. So this BCCI are going to pay the salaries to the players, yes or no? So imagine the BCCI has to pay salaries to the cricket players. So I will take that one also. Let me take our god of cricket. Who is our god of cricket? Sachin Tendulkar. Yes or no, ma? Okay, that is the reason I am not taking Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, because the fans will be there for the Rohit Sharma is a separate fan base and Kohli is having a separate fan base. That is the reason I am taking the Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, because Sachin Tendulkar will have the common fan base from our fathers onwards. Okay, na? So next, so imagine here you should not assume not only the Sachin Tendulkar, assume all the cricket players, ma, because you are not paying the salary for one player means it is you have to imagine that what, ma, you are not paying salary to any one of the player. Because let us take an example. In this shikharatutorials I am working. If a shikharatutorials not paying salary to me means that particular institute is not paying salary to any one of the teaching faculties or non-teaching faculties or anyone, because I am one person paying to one person means another person will not be simply sit, yes or no, that particular person also will ask. So that is the point I am saying, that BCCA paying the salaries, let us imagine 100 crore rupees have to pay salary to all the employees, but the BCCA is paying the salary or not paying the salary, amma? Not paying the salaries to the all the employees. So we cannot simply sit and we cannot write all the employees names, Yes or no? So that is the reason one of the person is going to get what ma? Here what they are paying ma? Salary they are paying. Paid or not paid? If the salary paid means what are the two outcomes? Salary and cash. The salary is not paid means the two outcomes are salary and outstanding salary. Nothing but expenditure and outstanding expenditure we can say. So here we are just taking example of what ma? Salary. Paid or not paid, amma? Not paid. Not paid means who will come into the picture? Persons will come into the picture, but we cannot write all the persons' name. So that is the reason instead of persons we are writing a word called as outstanding salaries. So outstanding salary is called as representative personal account. Okay, now what is the meaning of representation ma? On behalf of me, if any person coming to the class and teaching means that is called as, that particular person is called as representative of me. That's all. So what I am saying means, what are the two outcomes ma here? Can I take like this? The transaction will become BCCA have not paid salary of rupees 100 CR for their employees. For their employees. Who are the employees ma? Nothing but team players. Now what are the two outcomes ma? Paid or not paid ma? Not paid. So that is the reason here the two outcomes are salary and outstanding salary. Normally who has to come actually? Employees has to come, but we cannot write all the employees names. That is the reason what we are using the word ma? Outstanding salary. Okay. Okay, salary means expenses or income amma? Expenses. Expenses will have which balance? Debit balance. Okay. Always expenditure increases or decreases amma? Always the expenditure will be increases. So if the debit balance increases means what we need to do? Debit. The debit balance increases means what we need to do ma? Debit. Next one, coming to the outstanding salary. What is the meaning of outstanding salary ma? Liability or asset? Liability, because we have paid the expenditure during the current year. We are not paying. We are not paying the expenditure related to current year. We will pay the expenditure in the next year. Okay guys. Liability will have which balance? Credit balance. Liability will have which balance ma? Credit balance. Now liability created, we are repaying the liability. Liability is created. That is the reason the balance will be increases or decreases amma? Increases. So credit balance increases means what we need to do? Credit. So what is the entry ma? Salary account debited to outstanding salary. In general, what is the entry we have to write? In general, now the entry is salary account debited to outstanding salary account. What is the amount ma? 100 CR and 100 CR. This is a normal entry for outstanding salary. What is the general normal in general outstanding expenses entry ma? In the place of salary we have to put the word called as expenses. So the entry will become in general expenses account debited to outstanding expenses account. What is the amount ma? 100 CR and 100 CR. In general we have to use this word. So in a particular purpose means we have to substitute that particular name of the expenditure. Okay na guys? So let me take a note of it. Completed? Right from here. This one also completed. The next special transaction is you completed the outstanding expenses. It is a liability. Next, put the heading prepaid expenses. Okay. What is the meaning of prepaid expense? It is an asset. Okay. What is the meaning of prepaid, ma? Which is paid the expenses not related to current year. It is related to which year, ma? Next year. So I am writing expenses paid during the current year, comma, but not related to current year. Expenditure paid during the current year but not related to current year. That means it is related to which year, ma? Next year. So that is called as, the prepaid expenses is called as asset. Let me take an example. Business has to pay building rent so per month is equal to 10,000, ma. Per month, what is the building rent, ma? 10,000. But in the current year, how much they need to pay, ma? So 10,000 into 12, that is equal to 1,20,000 is sufficient. But the business paid 1,40,000 as a building rent. But the business paid how much, ma? 1,40,000 as a business building rent. Now, out of this 1,40,000, we can divide into the two parts. So, first part is having the value of how much, ma? 1,20,000, and second part is how much, ma? 20,000. So, this 1,20,000, we are going to call it as prepaid. We should not call it as prepaid, ma. That is related to current year, related to next year, related to current year. That is the reason this 1,20,000 is called as normal billing rent paid during the current year. So rent paid during the current year means that is a normal expenditure. The entry will be expenditure billing rent account debited to cash or bank account. But when coming to here, this point, the 20,000 related to which year, ma? Related to next year, but we have paid in the current year. So that is the reason this 20,000 is called as what, ma? It is not a normal expenditure. It is a prepaid expenses. That means in the next year, 1 month we have to pay, no need to pay. We no need to pay 1 month rent. Even though you are not paying the 1 month, it is not going to happen anything. So this 1,20,000, we are going to call it as prepaid rent. Okay, now this 1,20,000 we are going to call it as only rent. This 20,000 we are going to call it as prepaid rent. We have to bifurcate, we should not bifurcate. we have to bifurcate. If you are not going to bifurcate the rent and the prepaid rent, what is going to happen, ma? We are going to book a total 1,40,000 expenditure in the current year. Should be happened or should not be happened, ma? Should not be happened. As per which concept, ma? As per accrual concept. As per accrual concept. So only our matching concept we can say. So only the current year related expenses only we have to book in the P&L account. The next year expenses should not book in the P&L account. We have to treat it as asset. Are you getting the point or not? So as per which concept we are doing this bifurcation, ma? Accrual concept. Now the point is that what is the entry for the prepaid rent? What are the two outcomes, ma, here? The two outcomes are, in the name itself we are having prepaid or not paid, ma? Paid. Paid means involvement of cash is there or not there? Yes, involvement of cash is there. The two outcomes are prepaid rent and cash. Okay, na guys. So simply we can identify what are the two outcomes, ma? Prepaid rent and the cash. So prepaid rent, it is an asset or liability, ma? It is an asset. Will have which balance, ma? Will have the debit balance. Now the reason we have to decide whether it is increase or decrease. Sir, now only asset is created. Now only asset is created. In the next year, by the end of the month, now the asset value will be decreases. Are you getting the point or not, ma? So till now, this is the asset now only coming to the picture. Yes or no? Previously we are having any type of asset with the name of prepaid rent, ma. So we are not having any type of asset with the name of prepaid rent. Now only this prepaid rent coming to the picture. Because why, sir? You have paid the extra rent during the current year, but that whatever the extra rent you have paid, that is related to which year, ma? Next year. So during the current year, it will become an asset, the value will be increases. When going to the next year, the asset value will be decreases. So that is the reason the value will be increases. If the debit balance increases means what we need to do, ma? We have to do the debit. The same we have to do. And next coming to the cash, simply we can decide, ma. Cash is having which balance, ma? Asset having which balance? Debit balance. Now the cash comes in, goes out, ma. We are paying the cash, we are receiving the cash. We are paying the cash. So that is the reason comes in, goes out, ma. Goes out. The balance will be decreases. If the debit balance decreases means what we need to do, ma? Credit. Can you say the entry now? The entry is nothing but prepaid rent account debited to cash account. In general, if you say what is the entry for the prepaid expenses means prepaid expenses account debited to cash account. So the entry will be prepaid rent account debited to cash account. How much, ma? 20,000 and 20,000. Okay, na? So in general means what we have to write, ma? Prepaid expenses account debited to cash account. This is a normal in general entry. But now as per the situation, which entry we have to write, ma? Prepaid rent account debited to cash account. So this is the overall discussion. So please take a note of it. Okay, na guys. So next, the special point we have to discuss is called, this one also completed. Income receivable. First of all, income receivable means asset or liability amma. Receivable. Anything we are in a capacity of receivable means it is called as an asset. Okay na? So it is an asset. Why, sir? I will explain you, no problem. Amount, or we can say income related to current year, comma, income which was related to current year, comma, but we have not received during the current year. That means we have received in which year, ma? We have received in the next year. The income which was related to current year, so have to be received in the current year itself. But what happening, ma, here? Income related to current year, we are receiving in the next year. So what we have to do, sir? Such type of activities. Let me take an example. You will get a more clarity. So let me take an example of bank, of HDFC Bank. So imagine we are having one bank account. In which bank, ma? HDFC Bank. Imagine we have invested 1 crore rupees in that. On behalf of business only, we have invested 1 crore rupees. If anything, we made the fixed deposit. Let me take it as FD. What we are going to call it as the FD full form, ma? Fixed deposit. If you make any fixed deposit, what you are going to get as a return? You are going to get an interest as a return. Interest you are going to get in quarterly basis, hourly basis, or monthly basis, annually basis. Interest is generally we are going to get in a quarterly basis. Quarter means what, ma? How many months? 3 months. Quarter means 3 months. Per year, how many quarters will be there? 4 quarters will be there. Okay, na guys? Now, let me take an example. So imagine this is the current year. Generally, you already know. Generally, we are going to use which type of year, ma? Financial year or calendar year? Financial year. So this is a financial year of 25-26. Let me take an example like that. Can you say the starting year starting, ma? If the financial year is 25 and 26, what is the starting date of the financial year? 1st April 2025. Can you say the ending date of financial year, ma? 31st March 2026. It is the ending date of financial year. I have already told you that how many quarters will be there? 4 quarters. For each quarter, how many months will be there? 3 months. Let me divide into the 4 parts. So first part, second part, third part, and fourth part. I am going to call it as Q1. What is the meaning of Q1, ma? Quarter 1. And this is a Q2, Q3, and a Q4. Okay, let me take an example. Per quarter, per quarterly basis, we are going to receive an interest of 10,000 rupees. Let me take an example like that. Per quarter, how much interest we are going to receive, ma? 10,000 rupees. But what the generally bank will do, ma? First quarter interest. What the generally bank will do means, first quarter interest they will pay in the second quarter. Okay, na? And second quarter interest they will pay in the third quarter. Third quarter interest in the fourth quarter, and fourth quarterly interest they are going to pay in the next year. So that means here the first quarter interest of 10,000 we have received during the current era, we have not received during the current era. We have received during the current year only, but quarter 1 interest we have received in second quarter, but both are presented in same era, different year, same year. And quarter 2 interest of 10,000 also we have received during the current year. Quarter 3 10,000 also we have received during the current year. But when coming to the quarter 4 interest, how much we have to receive? 10,000 of the quarter 4 interest we have received in which year? Next year. That means what we can call this 3 10,000s we can call it as income received, income receivable. This 3 10,000 interest we are going to call it as income received, because the income during the current year we have received during the current year itself. But when coming to this last 10,000, this is an income related to which year? Related to current year only, related to current year, but we have received during the next year. So that is the reason we should call it as income receivable, nothing but interest receivable. Nothing but interest receivable, nothing but income receivable. So now we are going to write the entry for this by writing a transaction. Please take a note of it. We can discuss the journal entry for this one. Now, what is the transaction means? Interest receivable of rupees 10,000. Interest receivable of rupees 10,000. What are the two outcomes will come into the picture now? The two outcomes are, if we received means interest received and cash account, but we have received or we have not received? We have not received. So that is the reason what we can write here, interest just we can write the interest, and in the another point is interest receivable. Received means cash, not received means receivable come into the picture. Now, interest is an income or expenses, income. So income will have which balance, credit balance. Income will have which balance, credit balance. Now always, I have already told you that always incomes and expenses are increases or decreases, increases. So if the credit balance increases, what we need to do, credit. Yes or no? Now come to the interest receivable point of view. Interest receivable means asset, liability, income, expenses. It is an asset because Related to current year, we have not received. So asset means which balance, ma? Debit balance. Now, just now itself, this asset is created. Previously, we are having any such type of interest receivable asset. Just now it is created. So created means increases or decreases, ma? Increases. So debit balance increases means what we have to write, ma? Debit. So what is the journal entry for this? Interest receivable account debited to interest account. How much, ma? 10,000 and 10,000. In general, what we can write the entry, ma? In general, we can write the entry is called as income receivable account debited to income account. We have to substitute the word of interest with income. So income receivable account debited to income account. Income receivable account debited to income account. So is there any doubts, ma, up to here? And next comes the special point is called fourth one. So till now we have completed outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, income receivable. Next, income received in advance. Oh, can you say what is the meaning of income received in advance? No, no have idea. Why it is a liability? Okay guys, let me take an, we can write the first meaning. Let me take an example, you will get a more clarity this one. Okay guys, income received during the current year, comma, but not related to current year. You have received the income, but it was related to current year or not related to current year? It is not related to current year. So let me take an example, sir. Let me take some ex-CMA college. Okay, now we have started some ex-CMA college. Okay, now in CMA we are having how many levels? We are going to have the 3 levels. Can you say the 3 levels? So foundation, inter and final. So in our college, how the free structure will be? Our college means we have started which college? Some ex college. I am charging 1 lakh rupee for foundation and 1 lakh rupee for inter and 1 lakh rupee per final. Why are the same fee structure means the same, even though the foundation faculties are also intelligent fellows in our college. They are also having the experience. So that is the reason what I am doing. The same fee structure I am continuing the 3 levels. But I have put one policy that if any student joined in the foundation, as my policy, they have to pay the total 3 lakhs. They have to pay the total 3 lakhs in the foundation level itself. The which level ma? Foundation. So let me take, for foundation it will take 1 year. Okay na, in example. So imagine this is a current year. And enter for another 1 year, for final for another 1 year. So that means this 1 year is next year or current year ma? Next year. This 1 year is next to next year. Next to next year. But we are receiving total 3 lakhs in the which level? In the current year itself. In the foundation level only we are receiving what ma? This 2 lakh rupee, this 1 lakh rupee from the inter, and this 1 lakh rupee from the final also. Yes or no ma? And I am saying it as some fee structure like that. But I will give the discount. Normally it will take how much ma? It will take 3 lakh rupees for completing the total courses. But if you pay the foundation itself, I am going to take only 2,50,000. I can keep such type of offers. So imagine now what I am doing ma, in the foundation level itself, nothing but in the current year itself, we are receiving the income of next year and income of next to next year. So that means this 1 lakh rupees we are going to call it as income received in advance. The foundation 1 lakh is called as a income received. But when coming to the inter level and final level, the 2 lakhs we are going to call it as what ma? Income received in advance. We are having the liable to serve, to give the service of inter level, to give the service of final level. So even though we received the amount, that is not an asset. That is not an asset. We are having a liability to teach what ma? Inter level and final level. That is the reason income received in advance is called as a liability. So now ultimately, how much is the income received in advance ma? The 2 lakh rupees. The total 2 lakhs which we are received during the current year but not related to current year is called it as income received in advance. So how the 2 lakhs ma? 1 lakh of inter and 1 lakh of final. This is an inter and this is a final. You know, please take a note of it. We can discuss the entry. Okay, what is the transaction means now? Income received in advance of rupees how much ma? 2 lakhs. So what are the two outcomes, ma? We have received or we have not received? Received, but it is not just an income. It is what, ma? Income received in advance. The two outcomes are, already there is a word called as what, ma? Received. So received means already cash coming to the picture or not coming, mama? Already cash coming to the picture. So one of the outcome is called as cash. And next one is called as what, ma? Income received. Income received in advance. Income received in advance. So first of all, cash means asset or liability, ama? Asset. Asset will have which balance, ma? Debit balance. Now cash comes in or goes out? Received means comes in, it is increases. Now if the debit balance increases, what we have to do? We have to do the debit itself. And next, coming to the income received in advance. Asset or liability, amma? Liability, because we are having a liability to give the service. Give the service to the students of inter level and final level. And the liability will have which balance, ma? Credit balance. Liability will have the credit balance. Now the liability increases or decreases, amma? Increases. Now just now the liability created means it is increases. So increases, what we have to do? Credit. So what is the entry, ma? Cash account debited to income received in advance account. How much, ma? 2 lakhs. And 2 lakhs. So please take a note of it. Okay, completed, amma? So in this class we have discussed about the special transactions, and I can estimate that you can clearly follow which type of approach, ma? Modern approach. I think you completely understand about the modern approach. So next, keep the heading types of accounts. Very important, ma? So we are going to get outrightly 14 marks if you understand these types of accounts. So all the background for the important chapters we are discussing now itself. Okay, na? Types of accounts. First we can discuss the overall information about debtor account. We can discuss which account, ma? Debtor. In the debtor account, first what are the transaction comes in, I will write, then after I will explain one by one. First one, in the debtor account we are going to get opening balance. Okay, na? If any asset and liability, we are going to have the opening balances and closing balances. For the income and expenses, we are not going to have any opening balances and closing balances because those are nominal accounts. We have to transfer to the P&L account in order to find out what profit or loss. Okay, na? The balances which are available in the balance sheet, for them only we are going to have only opening balances and closing balance. And next we are going to have credit sales of goods. Credit sale of goods. And next we are going to have sales returns. Okay, na? Next we are going to have discount allowed. Sales returns, discount allowed. And next, collection from debtor. Okay, na? Next we are having certain word called as allowances. And next we are having closing balance. So these are the transactions will come in which account? Debtor account. Which side they are going to get, we have to decide one by one. Simply remember one thing, debtor is an asset or liability ama? Debtor is an asset. Asset will have which balance Asset is going to have the debit balance. What the debit balance either the debit balance can be increases, can be decreases. If the debit balance increases, what we can do? The same debit we can do. If it is decreases, what we can do The same credit we can do. Opposite of credit we have to do. These are the rules. Now let us decide. Opening balance we know. Asset means opening balance will be on the which side Debit side. So can I write like this? So DR. And closing balance will be on the which side Here. Nothing but credit side. Okay na guys. Already these are the points we have decided. Now we have to decide with the credit sale of goods, the debtor value will be increases or decreases. And next we have to decide with the sales returns, the debtor value increases or decreases. Or discount allowed, debtor value increases or decreases. And collection from debtor also allowances we have to decide. Why sir? If you know whether it is increases, which side we can write? Debit side of that particular account. Or if it is decreases means which side we have to write? We have to write in the credit side. Nothing but debit means here debit side, credit means here credit side. Are you getting the point? So let me discuss each transaction one by one. How many transactions we have to see now? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So discount allowed is similar to the allowances. Okay na? So 5 transactions. We have to decide increase or decrease. Increases means which side? Debit side. Decreases means which side? Credit side. Okay na guys? So all based on which approach Modern approach. Okay. Please write up to here. We can discuss. Read, Amma. Okay. So within a less time we can complete this account, no problem. So what is the first transaction, ma? Credit sale of goods. So imagine, let me take an example here. For in order to get the interest, who is this person, ma? Nowadays trending in the Instagram. You are having the Instagram, ma? Who is this person? Flashman. So in our example, the flashman is the debtor. Okay, and let me take a business example. Imagine this is our business. Okay, this is a business. Here this flashman is called as debtor, or simply. So what is the first we have to do? If this flashman has to become a debtor, means firstly we have to sell the goods. Yes or no? We have to sell the goods. So nothing but cash sales or credit sales, amma? Credit sales of rupees 1 lakh. A small amount of rupees 1 lakh. After that, he will see whether we are having any defective items or not. So, and he has found certain defective items and he has returned to us. Yes or no, ma? Nothing but we can call it as sales returns. Let me take an example of 10,000. Okay, now initial state, at the time of initially, how much he need to pay to us? 1 lakh. After that he has refunded how much worth of goods he has refunded? 10,000. That means he is liable for only how much? 90,000. So 1 lakh minus 10,000 plus 10,000, ma? Minus 10,000. Now the value of the debtor has become how much, ma? 90,000. That means, can I say because of sales returns, whose value will be decreases? Debtor value will be decreases. Are you getting the point? Because of sales. Because of which type of sales, ma? Credit sales. Which the debtor value increases or decreases? Increases. Why, sir? Previously we are not having any debtor. Now only we are having the debtor. Now only the asset is created. So because of credit sale, the debtor value will be increases. I am putting the symbols for which one, ma? Debtor. Okay, na? Because of credit sales, debtor value will be increases, because at the time of credit sale itself, debtor will be created in the business, in our books of accounts. That is the reason, because of credit sales, debtor value will be increases. And because of sales returns, which value will be decreases, ma? Debtor value will be decreases. So because through the sales returns, the debtor value is going to decrease. And next, then after, he has made the payment. He has made the payment to us. Okay, na? Now let me think. How much he need to pay, ma, now? So initially 1 lakh. He has returned how much, ma? 10,000 rupees. Now what is the balance of the debtor? 90,000. Out of this 90,000, he has paid 85,000. Okay, na? Amount received of rupees 85,000 from debtor. Now he has paid how much, ma? 85. The balance again going to decrease or going to increase? Going to decrease. Now what is the actual balance, ma, now? 5,000. So we are saying him, so no need to pay the 5,000. No need to pay the 5,000. Here once again, which symbol we have to put, ma? Upward symbol or downward symbol? Downward symbol. And next one, so outrightly we are giving what, ma? Discount. We are saying him to pay that amount, not to pay the amount, not to pay the amount. And again, this 5,000 we need to increase, we need to decrease. We need to decrease. The balance will become what, ma? 0. Okay, now even though he has not paid, we are cancelling the debtor because he has made the prompt payment. He has made the prompt payment. So this is called as discount allowed of rupees how much, ma? 5,000. So through this one also, debtor value increases or decreases? Debtor value is decreases. Are you getting the point? So please take a note of it. We can discuss the entries and we can discuss that particular ledger account. So now this is the first transaction. The debtor account. This is the second one. This is the third one. And this is the fourth one. Okay, now how many transactions we need to discuss, ma? 4. And there is another transaction is called as bad debts. Because of bad debts also the debtor value will be decreases because we have to cancel the debtor. Okay, no problem, we can discuss. Okay, what is the first one, ma? In that credit sales of rupees 1 lakh. So credit sales of rupees 1 lakh, what are the two outcomes? What are the two outcomes, ma? Sales and debtor or creditor, ma? Debtor. Okay, na guys. So sales, income or expenses, ma? Income will have which balance, ma? Credit balance. So always income increases or decreases, ma? Income increases. So what we need to write? Credit. Now when coming to the debtor, asset or liability, ma? Asset. So what we have discussed previously, just now itself debtor is created. So asset will have which balance, ma? Debit balance. So just now itself the asset is created, that means it is increases or decreases? Decreases. And if the debit balance increases, what we need to do? Debit. So what is the journal entry coming to the picture? Debtor account debited to sales account. Debtor account debited to sales account. What is the amount, ma? 1 lakh and 1 lakh. Okay, na? If you write the entries, easily we can understand the ledger account. That is the reason. Completed, huh? So next one, what is the next point, ma, from above? Sales returns. Sales returns of rupees 10,000. What are the two outcomes, ma? If nothing is mentioned, we have to use the word name debtor. So sales returns and debtor. Okay, guys. Sales is income, na? Sale is an income. Now sales returns, we can consider it as expenses. So expenses will have which balance, ma? Debit balance. So always increases or decreases, ma? Increases. So what we need to do? We need to do the debit. And let's come to the debtor. Debtor is an asset or liability, amma? Asset. We'll have which balance once again? Debit balance. So what we need to do, sir? Sir, in this situation, debtor value will be decreases. Why, sir? Previously he need to pay how much, ma? 1 lakh rupees. But he has written how much here? 10,000. That means the balance decreases to 90,000. So the balance here decreases. If the debit balance decreases means what we need to do? Credit. So what is the entry, ma? Sales returns account debited to debtor account. How much, ma? 10,000 and 10,000. Completed, huh? Okay. Next, the third one. What is the third point, ma, from above? Collection of cash, na. Okay, na? First we have seen trade sales, sales returns, next collection of cash and discount allowed. Okay guys, now what is the point ma? Cash collected from debtor of rupees how much? 85,000. Now what are the two outcomes? Cash and debtor. Okay, cash asset or liability ama? Asset. Will have which balance? Debit balance. Cash collected means comes in or goes out? Comes in. So increases or decreases ama? Increases. So debit. Yes or no? Next, see the debtor point of view. Debtor is also asset or liability? Asset. Again it is which balance ma? Debit balance. Now here in this situation, debtor value increases or decreases ma? At the time of credit sales, debtor value will be increases. At the time of repayment made by the debtor, debtor value will be decreases. So decreases means what we need to do ma? Credit. What is the entry? Cash account debited to debtor account. Okay na guys? Cash account debited to debtor account. How much ma? 85,000 and 85,000. Okay na? What is the fourth transaction ma? Discount allowed. After that we can discuss an account directly. Fourth one, discount allowed to debtor of rupees 5,000. Discount allowed to debtor of rupees 5,000. What are the two outcomes ma? Discount allowed, debtor. Most probably the students will think that discount allowed and cash. But here the involvement of cash is there or not there ma? There is no involvement of cash. So discount allowed and the second outcome is called as debtor. So this is an important transaction. So next, discount allowed means loss or gain or loss. Loss is nothing but we can write what ma? Expenses. Expenses will have which balance ma? Debit balance. So always expenses are going to increase. If the debit balance increases, what we need to do ma? Debit. Next one, debtor. Debtor means asset. Again which balance ma? Debit balance. Now the debtor value increasing or decreasing? He need to pay na? No need to pay na? No need to pay. Previously how much we need to pay? 5,000. Now we are cancelling his liability of rupees what ma? 5,000. So that is the reason what we are doing ma? Decreases. If the debit balance decreases, what we need to do? Credit. What is the entry ma? Discount allowed account debited to debtor account. How much? 5,000 and 5,000. So now we have to prepare which account ma? Debtor account. And once again I am repeating, for the debit balance, opening balance on which side? Debit side. Closing balance on which side ma? Credit side. That point I already know. So we are going to prepare So just I am writing a T shape. Which account we are going to prepare, ma? Debtor account. So left hand side is a debit record, right hand side is a credit record. So particulars, amount rupees, particulars, amount rupees. So this account is showing which balance, ma? This account is showing debit balance because it is an asset. So in any debit balance account, if the debtor increases, what we have to do, ma? Debit. If the debtor decreases, what we have to do? Credit. That's simply. Without the entries also we can prepare the account, but for your understanding we have prepared the entries. First we have to start with what, ma? We have to start with the opening balance. So many times we are discussing that for the debit balance, opening balance will be on the which side? Debit side. Closing balance will be on the which side? Credit side. We already proved that. Why, ma? Because what is the meaning of debit balance? Debit side is more than credit side. If the debit side is more, closing balance will come on the credit side. If the debit side is more, opening balance will be come on the debit side itself. Opening means which side is more, closing means which side is less. Okay, that is the reason. So directly for the opening balance, what we can write, ma? To balance brought down. What we can write, ma? To balance brought down. For the closing balance, which side, ma? Credit side. What we have to write? By balance carry down. So just put the into marks. That's all. For understanding the account only we are preparing. Then after credit sales. Okay, na? So what is the entry for the credit sales, ma? Debtor account debited to sales account. I think you know. So which account we are going to prepare? Debtor account. Debtor is debited or credited? Debtor is debited. That is the reason in that particular debtor account, which side we have to record? Debit side with the name of opposite asset. What is the opposite asset, ma? Here sales. So to sales we have to write. That's all. So don't write the amount anything. Just write the transactions. So to sales account. Okay, na guys? Okay. With the principle of this one also we can say, with the help of credit sales, the balance will be increases or decreases? Increases. Which balance will be increases, ma? Debtor balance. Increases means which side we have to write? Debit side. Hence proved. Are you getting the point, ma? As per the logic also we can directly prepare which account? Debtor account. But I am showing the journal to lecture. And next, what is the next transaction we have prepared, ma? Sales returns. So go to the sales returns account. What is the entry here? Sales returns account debited to debtor account. Now in this particular transaction, journal entry, debtor is debited or credited? Credited. In the debtor account, which side we have to record, ma? Credit side with the name of opposite asset of sales returns. Credit side, while writing anything, which word we have to put, ma? By. So by sales returns are to sales returns are? By sales returns. By sales returns account. Guys, now as per this principle also we can apply. Debit balance increasing or decreasing, amma? Decreasing. Debit balance increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. So because of debtor balance, because of sales returns, debtor balance will be decreases. That is the reason we are recording on which side, ma? Credit side. Are you getting the point? Next one, collection from debtors. So what is the entry we have recorded, ma? Cash account debited to debtor account. Again which side, ma? Credit side with the name of to cash or by cash? By cash. So you can write by cash or bank account. Again it is increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. That is the reason we are writing on which side? Credit side. So like that also you can understand. Okay, na guys? What is the next one, ma? discount allowed. Okay, now again, what is the entry for the discount allowed, ma? Discount allowed account debited to debtor account. Again, it is the debtor debited or credited, amma? Credited. Which side we have to record? Credit side. By discount allowed account. Guys, okay now. And again, through the bad debts. So because of bad debts also, which value will be decreases, ma? Debtor value will be decreases. Which side we have to record? Here the debtor is an asset having which balance, ma? Debit balance. If the debtor value decreases means which side? Credit side. Increases means which side? Debit side. Now because of bad debts, the value will be increases or decreases? Decreases. So I am writing by bad debts. Can you say the entry, ma? In which account it was credited? Debtor account. That means in the particular journal entry, debtor will be credited. So what is the entry, ma? Bad debts account debited to debtor account. And again, we can write by bills receivable. So by bills receivable, this point you will understand in bills of exchange concept. This point you can understand in which chapter, ma? Bills of exchange concept. And here also we are going to get two bills receivable. In the case of dishonor. The case of dishonor. Okay, nama? These 2 points you are going to understand in which chapter, ma? Bills of exchange chapter. So without the 2 points, I think you have got the clear picture about this debtor account. If the debtor balance increases only in 2 models, only in 2 situations debtor value will be increases. What are the 2 situations, ma? Credit sales and bills receivable dishonor. For the remaining all the types of activities which was related to the debtor, the balance will be decreases. That is the reason we are recording on which side, ma? Credit side. Okay, na guys? So if you understand this one easily, we can prepare the debtor account. Generally, what will be the closing balancing figure, ma? Closing balance will be the balancing figure. I am circling it because of that will be a closing balance in general. In the single entry chapters, there may be a missing figure of sales, there may be a missing figure of bad debts, like that. So you have to remember this particular account. All the transactions you have to remember, only 2 transactions like that. All the transactions you have to remember. Okay, na guys? Okay, please take a note of it. Completed? Okay. And the 2 points you will understand in which chapter, ma? Bills of exchange chapter, no problem. And next, one last point, bad debts recovered. After completing of that one, we can take a leave. Bad debts recovered of rupees 10,000. Okay, now what are the 2 outcomes, ma, here? Bad debts recovered. Bad debts recovered. Bad debts recovered means we have received the cash. Bad debts recovered means what is the assumption, ma? We have received the cash, but the debts we have write it off as a bad debt. Debtor has become the bad debt and then we are receiving the cash. Are you getting the point or not? So normally if anything we are receiving from the debtor means what are the 2 outcomes? Debtor and cash. But here debtor changed as bad debt and again we are receiving that one. So that is the concept called as bad debt recovered of rupees of how much, ma? 10,000. Here the 2 outcomes are bad debts recovered and cash. So here debtor is not going to come. So that is the reason we are not recorded here bad debts recovered. Have you recorded the bad debts recovered here? So only bad debts only will come into the picture in the debtor account. What will not be come? Bad debts recovered will not be come. So bad debt recovered is an income. Income means which balance ma? Credit balance. Always incomes are increases. So what we need to do? Credit. And next, cash is an asset or liability amma? Asset. Will have which balance ma? Asset will have debit balance. So comes in na goes out? Comes in. We are receiving the bad debts which are written off earlier. So now comes in means increases. What we need to do ma? Debit or credit? Debit. What is the entry? Cash account debited to bad debts recovered account. So most of the students there will be a myth in that the two outcomes are bad debts recovered and debtor. No, the bad debts recovered and the cash are the two outcomes in the case of bad debts recovered. This particular bad debts recovered will not be appear in the debtor account, is going to appear in the cash account. So the entry will be cash account debited to bad debts recovered account. How much ma? 10,000. So this is how we are completing the first type of account. Which account ma? Debtor account. In the next class we can discuss the creditor account, asset account, like that. So is there any doubts of the today's class ma? So thank you very much for your concentration. So thank you, have a nice day, bye bye. So last, at the time of winding up, I can give conclusion that why I am teaching these types of accounts and why I am teaching this modern approach means all the classes I am going to use the modern approach, and without this type of accounts we cannot solve the single entry sums, we cannot solve the NPO sums. So I don't know the faculties who taught you before in the CMA foundation which model. That is the reason once again I am going to teach you this basics. And there is another objective is that from the basics only we are going to get 40 plus marks. So if you know the basics easily, within a less time we can score the more marks. So excluding the basics, the remaining topics, it will take so much time to write the exam. So the only, I think you already know, accounting subject will be easy. For writing the sums it will take so much time. So the paper will be the lengthy, the paper is not going to get difficult. So you have to manage the time, means you have to give the more concentration, you have to learn the concepts which are completely discussed in the CMA foundation once again. Once again means I am not going to teach you the journal entries once again. I am going to teach you the model which I am going to use in the class. That's all. Okay, now that is the reason I am going to. And again, this type of accounts I will put in the chapter of single entry. If you know this type of account, easily you can complete that chapter. Easily NPO chapter also can be completed. So that is the reason, in order to understand my teaching technique, I am saying this type of discussion at the initial stage of the classes. And I am not going to start the journal and ledger double entry system once again. I am directly start with the subsidiary books. Even though if you know the subsidiary books, without subsidiary books knowledge, we cannot start doing the rectification of errors. So thank you. So even though if you take coaching anywhere also, more concentrate on the basics, within a less time we have to score the more marks. That is only the logic. Thank you. Have a nice day.